What I have today is a Miller's Falls Langdon Acme miter box. Now, Miller's Falls acquired this miter box from the Langdon Miter Box Company in 1906, and they continue to produce this model pretty much unchanged up until the early 1950s. The Langdon Miter Box Company actually designed and developed this miter box, and it's just a major improvement over the other miter boxes that they had been producing in the past. Now, the miter box is about 19.5 inches long. The bed's about 4.5 inches wide, and the fence is about 3.25 inches high. It has the usual detents around the front, 90, 22.5, 45, and such. They added a vernier scale here, and they also added, if you wanted to set it up between the detents, they added this lever. It unlocks it so you can move it from detent to detent, but if you flip it the other way, it's possible to lock it down between the detents and set it up on the scale. They also did away with the wooden bed and added these steel plates to it that have these raised, sharp little projections on top here to help hold your wood in place while you're sawing. They also added these posts on each end, supposed to be for work holding, and they're not terribly useful, to be honest. I've never used them. Now, there's no other work holding or stops provided on this miter box. It has the saw stops or depth stops, unlike some of the other ones had. These were just kind of a single purpose. You use them for a depth stop, and that was it. They also added depth stops for the saw up here on the saw guide, so you could set it up so you didn't accidentally saw into the miter box. That's something the earlier models didn't have. They also added these, and this is a big improvement. Now, Miller's Falls called these an elevator. It's just a spring-loaded plunger that sits into a notch in the saw guide, and this allowed you to raise the saw up and hang it in the air like this, so you could put your piece of wood up underneath it and set it up without having to take the saw out of the miter box, which is a big improvement. Now, this is a size 1, number 68. This is the smallest size that they made. And the smaller sizes, this guide post here was fixed. The larger sizes had an adjustable guide post that you could move in about or out about 2.5 inches for larger pieces of work. Now, this is the original saw that came with this miter box. It's a Simon Saw and Steel Company saw. It's 22 inches long, it's 4 inches high. Now, they only made saws from about 1914 through 1926, so that puts this miter box around about that time frame. And these are really good saws. Now, I don't know if you can make it out or not. There's also a Miller's Falls decal right here on the tote, which is kind of nice to have. It's still intact. But these are really great miter boxes. No reason not to use it if you get a hold of one and it's in good shape. I use this one off and on and have for quite a few years, and they really do a good job. It's still just as accurate as it was when it was built, probably. There you go, Miller's Falls Langdon Acme miter box.